Hey, I'm Krista.
And I'm Ken.
Hey, Ken. We're 6 feet apart. You want to just take off our masks? We're outside.
That sounds great.
Feel safe to do that?
Absolutely.
Perfect. Don't want our glasses fogging up while we go over the safety features of these saws. We're going out to do some cutting and whatnot, so that is the best and first thing you should do is discuss the features, but also inspect them.
So here I have a battery saw, and whenever we're doing any maintenance or any work around the cutters, we want to make sure that we take that battery out of that saw, cut off that power source, because if we were to give it any throttle when doing the maintenance, we're going to activate that chain. These chainsaws have numerous safety features. The ones we're going to go over is the 4 major safety features of these chainsaws. And the first major safety feature of this particular saw is the front handbrake. The front handbrake, to disengage, we're going to keep our thumb wrapped, reach forward with our fingers, and pull that brake towards us. To engage the brake, we're going to lower our rear handle and activate that brake with our wrist. We'll know that chain brake is activated because we'll find no movement on that chain once we activate the brake.
Absolutely important. You don't want to get out there and your chain's spinning when the brake is on. Now, in case you are working with your saw and for some reason the chain comes off of the bar or comes apart and comes loose, you want to make sure that your chain catcher pin is intact. On this particular model, it's right here. You want to make sure it's there, you want to make sure it's not loose, and you don't want it to be bent in any direction. They're very easy to replace and very cheap to replace, so it's not something you want to skip. Why this is so important is that if this chain were to come off and whip around, it shortens the distance from which it will come around and whip you. So you want that to be there. And that being said, if that were to be missing or get damaged when that comes around, you then have your next main safety feature of your saw, which is the rear handguard. So in case that chain were to come spinning around, hit the chain catcher pin, it's going to hit this rear handguard before it hits your hand and protect you.
Let's talk about the last major safety feature of the chainsaw. These manufacturers realize these can potentially be dangerous tools. They put numerous safety features in there. Our last one is our throttle interlock, which is right here. With this, we can't press the throttle without depressing the interlock.
All right, let's talk about the reactive forces of the chain. You've got 4 areas that do 4 different things. Top of the bar and chain is your push. Bottom of the chain has a reactive force of pulling. Bottom of the tip of the bar is your go zone. Top of the tip of the bar is your no zone. So you got push, pull, no, go. When you use the top of your bar, say you're bucking up some firewood or cutting a low limb, if you use the top of the bar, it's going to push you away. You use the bottom of the bar and make a cut, it's going to pull you in towards it. Knowing those 2 forces and which one is going to happen helps you to position yourself properly before you make that cut. The tip of the bar, the bottom quadrant of the tip of the bar, is totally cool. Use it all the time. Top quadrant of the tip of the bar is your no zone. That's your kickback zone. That's dangerous. Don't go there. Avoid it as much as you possibly can.
And knowing that kickback zone is so important. We always like to say good body position equals safe body position. By that, we have a nice straight back. We're resting the saw on what we call our workbench, our thigh right here. And we have the engine in between us and the cutters. We're on the good side of the saw. If we were to receive kickback, it would rotate away from us. Whereas if we bend over, now we're on the bad side of the saw and we're exposing ourselves to that kickback zone. It's the same with if we're on the ground here. we take a knee, I'm going to rest my forearm on my thigh to help support the weight of the saw. Keep a nice straight back. And I'm going to be looking at my cut from the good side, from this side of the saw. This way, if I get kickback, I'm out of that zone. If I lean over, I'm in that bad zone again.
All right, let's talk about starting the chainsaw. There's 2 approved methods of starting a saw. I'm going to go over the leg lock position. So making sure you start with your handbrake on, get in a nice strong stance, make sure that you're on even ground. You're going to lock the saw between your legs, nice and firm. Straight arm on your left on the handle, and you're going to pull up and straight. You want the chain, or you want the handle to pull straight through and not wear on the grommet coming out on a weird angle. You're going to ruin the pull cord, and you're going to probably not pull it very ergonomically. So standing nice and still, grabbing that and pulling up and through your body.
The other acceptable way to start a saw is known as the ground start. We're going to take a knee on the ground, and the ground now becomes one of those points of contact. Our other point of contact will be on that front handle with our left arm, and our back leg will be resting behind the saw on the rear handle. A lot of books you'll see will say to place your foot inside that rear handle. It's simply not possible. There's not enough room in there. If you're looking for an alternative, you can place your knee on that power head. When you're pulling the cord, you want to pull with your whole body. That way you'll get a lot more power on your pull. So leaning in and pulling back, using your whole body to engage or to pull that cord. Those are the 2 and only 2 acceptable ways of starting a saw.